Welcome to Dweller of the Dark. We are a channel honoring the yellowed and blackened bones of many prominent authors. We will be digging up several obscure, strange, and forgotten authors who influenced many of the great horror, science fiction, and fantasy writers today. More tales of the horrifying, obscure, strange, and forgotten, or climbing out of the tombs. Children of Horror, Legion of Ghouls. Tonight, this one is dedicated to you, children of horror, Legion of Ghouls. And also to Nicholas Sparks. Keep crying them tears of blood. For the love of a phantom. Prologue. A towering, infernal wall of brilliant orange blazed as an inferno across the island. Seeing that inescapable massive wall of flames, I ran from those cyclonic fires as if the devil himself were chasing me. But by the gods, I had suffered injury. My right arm and leg had been crushed from an unexpected attack. Undaunted, I hobbled and made haste to charge forward through the flames, dodging fallen fiery trees, coughing through the billows of smoke, and plunging down into troughs to avoid fireballs of marsh grasses. I carried on, fleeing. I cursed and cajoled, plunging and fighting forward through the remnant island vegetation, twisting vines and canopy that I knew in mere moments would be reduced to charred ash. Finally, I reached a momentary sanctuary from the heat beneath some towering willows near an unnamed obsidian bayou. I crouched in the water-soaked mud, trying to desperately stay beneath the smoke and flames. Coughing from the billowing fogs of smoke rolling toward me, I leaned ever lower. I heard behind me a multitude of blood-curdling screeches. Somewhere to the east, I caught the terrified screams of island creatures dying. Then I heard something more guttural in its pleadings for life. Maybe, in the moment, it might have been my own scream. If it was a pitiful cry of fear or outrage, I'll never say. I turned back to the bayou and my immediate escape. The pearl waters rippled from the gusting heated winds. The trees above me shifted in those same gusts, and I saw numerous running shadows silhouetted by the rising orange flames, engulfing, trying to evade the inferno and escape. The time had drawn nigh to flee myself. I had no choice in the moment. I was injured, on the verge of death. I could not save what was already lost by the foul acts of these heartless dregs. I'd have to retreat for now. The devil be damned. I'd avenge my murdered friends for this heinous atrocity. I took a deep breath and prepared to launch myself into the tannin waters. I could almost feel the bayou's icy chill that would soothe the burns to my skin and numb my broken ribs and other bones. I bent knees to push off from a twisted willow stump and to dive beneath the mysterious, murky waters. I fell back in a startled panic. Something with razor teeth, alligator, garfish, or worse, reached the surface. I hesitated in the tense moment, realizing those same gnashing, deadly teeth waited below in the darkness of the water. But then, the furious hurricane-like winds of the island fire singed overhead in the willows, forcing me to do something. I cast a glance and resigned to dive in anyway. I thought, it's better to face those teeth or any of the creatures slithering out there in the smoke and abysmal waters of the bayou than to be burned alive. From the corner of my eye, I saw something that brought a wicked smile. My eyes widened with profound giddiness. A bureau lay half-turned on its side, nested between three smaller willows. Inside it held a ripped piece of molded canvas. Someone had tied it in a makeshift way as a cover, most likely from the rain. There was no time to spare. I needed to move out now. I flipped the boat and searched in vain for a paddle. With none in sight, I grabbed a flattened piece of driftwood cypress knee by the water's edge. With the boat in the bayou and the inferno of the island finally here, I draped the life-saving canvas over me and paddled out and away from certain doom. How long I paddled, I can't say. I know I navigated the winding tributary as best I could, feeling the wrenching pains of the broken ribs and the uncanny ooze of blisters across my back. I ignored these and pushed on until the small bayou meandered and ended. It was there, still in the recesses of darkness, that I heard water gushing to my left. I eyed a channel where lumberjacks had pulled ancient logs toward the nearby sawmills for lumber. These great ditches, trenasses, were webbed out across the swamps and marshes, and this one I found just when I needed it. By the looks of the towering giant oaks at the entrance of the trenasse and their swaying Spanish moss, I was headed northwest and well away from any more fires tonight. But I had another concern, something that I'd forgotten between the attack by those marauders and my escape from their deadly flames. I looked at my uncovered hands and patches of my bare skin exposed beneath burnt clothes and groaned. For you see, my skin was susceptible to burn easily. Old liar, the name I often gave my lying mentor over the years, warned me often that I was prone to sunburn and a whole lot worse if I ventured into the direct light, especially in the midday rays of the sun. I shuddered in the moment as I pulled the canvas over my head to rest the spell. It was at that same moment of that ghastly thought that I heard the first morning bird singing to my port side. I let the boat drift on down the tranquil waters. I heard the gentle lapping of the waves as they moved the pirogue in their caressing hands to some point unknown. Lying low beneath the canvas, I let my mind drift back to the past. As the boat heaved, crossing over a stump, I remembered a fond moment of holding the hand of my long-dead wife out on my ship. We both were laughing about the challenges we would face raising our soon-to-be-born child. But then a storm cloud moment demanded me to relive in a nightmare the horrific night that ended all of it. I bit the side of my tongue and winced to stifle tears from that memory. After a lifetime of their passing, my heart still pained me, and the tears flowed as a gentle rain missing them. I repositioned and tried to close my eyes to remember the brighter moments with my Marie. Like purging sunlight, her loving memory pushed back the awful darkness of her demise. I gripped tightly Marie's porcelain hand into my tanned, sea-worn one. Both of us were frolicking on a blue sky beach, playing with an emerald sea turtle. How we swam and swam with the giant beast out into those aquamarine seas until the creature left us to return to the deep. I smiled broadly, looking to her then back toward our wayward friend. All this I dreamt whilst I lay in the recesses of the boat and stayed covered under the sheet of canvas. Another hour passed, and I stayed locked in my beloved memories. On the third hour of lying beneath the canvas, out of the sun's morning glow, I checked the burns and extent of my injuries as best I could while drifting ever further somewhere. My injuries appeared to be of a severe enough nature for me to consider the inevitable. At some point, I'd have to make a decision on journeying on. I could guide the boat to an inlet of shade right now and wait out the day, or risk capsizing if I managed to make it into a river or large lake. Neither seemed all that enticing, and I was beyond tired of the monotony of it all. Maybe there was a third option, an option that I had long thought of, especially on moonlit nights when I sat alone crying by my beloved Marie's empty grave. I lost her, you see, to deadly tides in a sudden tempest. It was during that squall, as I battled to reclaim my ship from mutineers, she fell over. Losing my one and only scorched my soul. All efforts to save or recover her ended in futility, and I was forever a damned man. To keep her alive in my heart and mind, I erected a marble monument out on the island that nearly burnt me to ash. the same island where long after I avenged her, I exiled myself. There, I'd speak to Marie and relive long-dead conversations. Penitently, I'd make my nightly walk to her rose-covered grave to regale happier times and think over that third option, death. Possibly the time had come for my finality to let go and perish from this earth as she did. I pondered, rolled my eyes, and slightly winced. What in killing myself, ending my existence, will I be rejoined with Marie and our child in the afterlife? After all the transgressions I have committed in this world to God and man, can I go to heaven? No way in hell. I laughed sarcastically and shrugged. Then to no one I could see. I think I'm long overdue to find out though, Marie. Let's tempt the waters of fate one more time. Who knows? Maybe I finally get to come home to you. I took a ragged, deep breath for courage to do the unthinkable. I steeled my nerves to take on the pain in my knees and stand. I stood up still wrapped in the molded canvas that smelled of aged fish and fetid water. I braced myself to unfurl the canvas and let the sun burn away what was left of my blistered flesh. Hopefully, it wouldn't take too long to kill me. I opened the canvas as quick as a striking cottonmouth and flung it into the waters. I put my hands up defensively and closed my eyes, waiting for the worst. I lowered one of my hands slightly and peeked with my left eye. The morning sun was rising as a golden orb over the silver mist of a familiar bayou, Bayou LeBlanc. The waterway was lined on both sides with a verdant sprawl of ancient live oaks on whose branches clung silver blankets of moss. I lowered my hands and looked on the ashen mess of my breeches and tatters of my shirt, grimacing. There was no scalding pain. There was no further burning to my flesh. Nothing had happened. Old liar, you tricked me again. I growled indignantly and slapped my healing hands together with a chuckle. In the bewildering moment, a noise startled me. I heard a vengeful squeal within the confines of the pirogue that sent an icy chill of terror down my spine. I rocked back from that horrific sound. In the same instant, I gasped in shock, falling into the cold waters of Bayou LeBlanc. Engulfed in the bayou's silted waters, I nearly gagged, choking on duckweed as I righted myself beneath the boat. It was also in the same instant I heard a splash, my splash, as I fell out of the pirogue. But it caused me to flip out of the boat. That was simple enough. A vicious, large rat, a Norwegian river rat, had jumped from an alcove on the starboard side of the boat. It risked all and launched itself at me, squealing in outrage. In my haste to avoid its nasty bite, I leaned and twisted away, falling in. The rat was still squealing at me as I slapped the shimmering waters to shoo it off and gather the boat. With the monstrous rat continuing to voice its displeasure toward me, I swam to the largest oak on a nearby shore with the boat in tow. All the while, as I treaded water toward the shore, I grumbled back to the rat who continued to squeal. My furry friend, you're still holding a grudge after 10 years? Thank you for listening. Have a great night.